Yes, welcome to the No State Project live from the fortified compound here in Mesa, Arizona, where it is a scorching 115, 116 degrees today. It was pretty hot. It's actually storming right now. Well, they've been threatening us with a good time for a couple of weeks now, because typically when we get the 110 plus, we get monsoons. Not monsoons like Vietnam, but it would rain. And when I first moved down here, it used to rain like that, like every day for a little bit and cool things down. And now, no, not so much. So we're probably just going to get a whole lot of dust, which I was just out there. And yeah, we're probably just going to get a whole lot of dust. And I can actually hear it. You know, I've had microphones sometimes that were so sensitive that could pick up at least the dogs barking, but not always the storm. So it's got that ominous, tremble out there. So maybe if it'll get loud enough, you'll be able to hear here on the stream. Sorry for last week. Things happened. Was not able to make it. If you'd like to help so that doesn't happen anymore, so I can do regular streams and not lose a day here or lose a whole week, you can look into the description. There are links there that you can help support the stream so that I'm able to do it more frequently. Hey, if you guys want, I'll do a stream every single day, but let me know in the comments, and also if you wanted, again, to do that, use the links in the description. So this is something I want to talk about this. It is July 17th, 2023. And back in July of 2015, 8 years ago. My gosh, it's 8 years. I had someone named Bill on the show, and Bill did kind of an animal rescue up in Washington, or Washington, depending on where you're from. And we didn't even have a topic of discussion. And for whatever reason, we just got to talking about inconsistent thoughts in our head. And everybody has that. It's just the more mature, or the more enlightened, the more rational among us will be bothered by that and go and try to reconcile that. So look at the facts. Do our beliefs. Does my map of the world, does it have contradictions? So a contradiction is like one of these religious zealots that are so pro-life that they think if a woman has an abortion, she should get the death penalty. So they're so pro-life that they want to kill people. And again, abortion, even if the baby, the fetus is not viable and has already died, still death penalty for the mother. And some religious zealots even think the doctor performing that life-saving abortion should get the death penalty. So it's inconsistent ideas in our heads. And so what Bill and I were talking about, and again, this was not planned. 99% of what's on the stream is complete. It just stream, it's not planned. It's certainly not scripted out. Well, yeah, Mark, we're looking at the numbers for the channel this past week, and yeah, we get that. Yeah, understood. It's really working out for you. But one of the inconsistent thoughts that I had in my head was I could not kill an animal. I cannot bring myself to do that. And when I hear about other people doing that, I think it's terrible. I think one of the worst things is hunting. My gosh, where is the sport in taking a gun and shooting a defenseless animal? How micro is your penis that you have to go out and feel like a man by killing with a gun an animal? That's why I love that scene from My Cousin Vinny. Imagine you're a deer. She won the Academy Award for that. I forget her name. But Mona Lisa. What was that actress's name? Anyway, that's not important. But imagine you're a deer, and bam, Half your head's blown off. Now I ask you. So it always seemed to me kind of barbaric. Now I like shooting guns, but like I was in the army and I like shooting at targets, not living creatures that want to live. So anyway, it was one of these inconsistencies in my head. And Bill and I, during the discussion, he wasn't a vegetarian. He's not certainly not a vegan. But I, on that show, decided that I need to be more ethical and I need to be more consistent with my view of the world. So I had to update my map of the world. And from that show, I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating animal products, but I still, for the week, was eating cheese. And, I'm Sicilian, I mean, that's kind of what you do here, formaggio. It's, that's what you do. And Eyal, who had a lot of success in Israel, this did not sit well with Eyal. And so he set me straight. See, the thing was, the ethic was to be consistent ethically was if it's morally reprehensible for me to kill an animal, well, it should be morally reprehensible for somebody else to kill that animal so that I can eat it. So I stopped. That was not consistent. And then the next week, Eyal, and we have a bunch of shows with Eyal on the channel here. He called to set me straight that I wasn't being ethically consistent. Now, I get most people, even some of the loudest ones posting on this channel, don't give a damn about moral or ethical consistency. And it tends to be from religious zealots. Bigotry is usually rooted in religious zealotry. I mean, my gosh, religious zealots, why are they bigots? Why do they support slavery? Well, one, it's in the Bible. Two, in the Bible, you have what's called the mark of Cain, non-white skin. So if you're, brown, or black skin, you bear the mark of Cain in some of their view, and that you're inferior. So you got the bigotry baked right in to a lot of religious texts. Okay for slavery, right there in the Bible. And I get that. And I understand that there's going to be some people that are going to say, oh my gosh, he's talking about veganism again. What the hell does this have to do with court? Not everything has to do with court. The show is always about ethics, being a better person. And I had to ban somebody finally because he kept on flooding. So that's the thing. It's about being a better person. And so what Eyal brought out, just like when I had my discussion with Bill the week before, was I wasn't being ethically consistent because those animals were still being killed in the dairy and in the dairy, as far as dairy. Now you have cows, bovine that are born male in the dairy industry, and they are then put in a small, tiny cage and sold for veal, that they're killed. And so the idea was, well, yes, they're not really killing the animal for dairy. Yeah, they are. And they're raping them because the cows don't normally milk without a bit, they have to be artificially inseminated or raped. So he all set me straight. He set me straight. So here we see it again. I like the way it's set up, and it is heavily footnoted. So all the sources are there. Veganism is the practice of abstaining from the use of animal product, particularly in diet and an associated philosophy that rejects the commodity status of animals. An individual who follows the diet or philosophy is known as a vegan. Now, I do get, of course, that people will say, well, yeah, you got a phone. You use your phone. There's no getting away in the modern world, but it is to abstain from using animal products as far as practical. Okay, so the easiest thing that any one of us can do is to abstain from eating them. We can't get away from the fact that the computer uses it. I drive a car, the tires, I know. I've heard all of this. But that is a fallacy. That is a fallacy. The idea that it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. That's just, one of many logical fallacies that people who try to counter-argue against the vegan ethics throw up there. Well, what about your phone? What about the glue that holds your sheetrock? It's not perfect. We do what we can because ethics is not about being perfect. It's about being a better person. It's like being a better person than those people who call themselves government, being better than them, striving to be a better, more ethically reasonable or logical person. Live honestly, injure no one, give every man his due. Now, who is perfect in that? That doesn't mean you don't follow the ethic as much as you can. It really is something, the mental gymnastics that some will come out with. And one of the big ones is, well, you gotta plow a field, you're killing bugs, you're killing small critters. It's not perfect. I've heard all of them. Well, do you use pesticides in your house, Mark? You're killing. Well, that's self-defense. That's self-defense. Or if you're taking measures to protect your food supply, of course. But the idea of eating an animal doesn't make any sense from a practical standpoint for most of us because you don't have to. You don't have to. So after 8 years of being a vegan, I can say from my last, and again, I'm always nervous with these things. I don't run. I hate running. I tried getting back into it about a year ago, say months. Hate it. I have hated it since I was in the army. I hate running. Hate it. But I am over 50. I know. I started doing this a long time ago. And even though I am over 50, I am on no medications whatsoever. I do not have chronic pain. I do not have any kind of chronic illnesses other than getting COVID last year, which I know there's a couple of people here who think it's fake anyway. I don't get major illnesses. I train almost every day with the Olympic lifts and gymnastics strength training. I could do handstand push-ups. I can deadlift over 400 pounds. I can squat over 300 pounds. I can push press more than body weight. And as far as vital stats, my blood pressure is typically 105 over 65. And my last tested heart rate, again, I get a little nervous where, was 52. So I'm right on the cusp of not doing any running and doing other types of cardio with a barbell, of getting my heart rate under 50 again. Although I had a doctor tell me when I was like 50, 51, that at my age, I could not get my heart rate lower. And just since COVID knocked I have lowered my heart rate at least 9 points. So 52, I think that's pretty good. So as far as my cholesterol is under 150. So as far as my physical being, it's great. Mental, that's a whole other thing. That's you barely hold it. Some days you barely hold it together. The idea that, and I've had my protein tested, it's normally about blood protein, about 7.1, 7.2. So not a problem with that. I recover very well. So as far as physical ability, my physical ability did not take any hits whatsoever when I stopped eating. So the idea that, yeah, you got to have animal products, you got to be, no. And then you've got one of the strongest men in the world, the strongman Patrick Baboumian, who has been a vegan for, a good portion of his life. He was a vegetarian before, so it's not like he ever had large amounts. Well, he didn't have meat. So it's absolute nonsense that for most of us, you have to have animal products. It's not true. And I'm not going to just use myself, but there are millions and millions and millions of vegans. That's why in Israel has a very high percentage of the population that is also vegan. And it just comes down to being a better person. You can make whatever justifications you want. What it comes down to, and this is why I did that video about the garbage right on the parking lot next to a garbage, next to a pail. Instead of doing something that will benefit your health and benefit others, you take the selfish route. Vafangul, F you, I got mine. I'm changing my life. In fact, I'm gonna eat twice the amount of meat to make up for what you're not eating. You're just being a douche. That just like the idea that you can't, that I shouldn't do something that would benefit others. Even if just from a pure selfish standpoint, I want to have the lowest risk, the lowest all mortality risk. And so the studies have shown vegan diet, lowest risk for all cause mortality. Just doing it selfishly, just taking care of yourself. I've heard all the stupid arguments. I can imagine what's in the chat, not the chat. Well, yeah, in the comments. So I'll get to that here in a little bit. Veganism is a philosophy and way of living which seeks to exclude. See, this is what's important. Okay, trying to use logic and reason here. Seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation of and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose, and by extension promotes the development and use of animal-free alternatives for the benefit of animals, humans, and the environment. In dietary terms, it denotes the practice of dispensing of all products derived wholly or partly from animals. So as far as possible, there's no reason for the average American, the average person in a Western developed society to eat animal products. See, and it doesn't mean eating boring. You see, these are biscotti, huh? Vegan. So my favorite biscotti, well, I'll say the Oreo. Oreo's a vegan. So yes, you can have obese vegans. It's really easy to be obese on even the vegan diet. So, but and this is the thrust of the No State Project and why I got into that and started doing things because I saw something I believed was fundamentally wrong. I could see that based on the facts, it was unethical. It is unethical. It is immoral to control other people. I believe that the court system and the government setup, not that I have an issue with the service. The service, I've always said, it's not necessarily the service. It's the manner in which it's provided. So I think that all the problems that we associate with government, all of them come down from the fact that it rests on an unethical foundation. And so they don't have to force us, but they do. So when you so it's the same scumbag attitude, right? They don't have to force. There are other ways to collect the money to pay for those services. You can have corporations and you can tax them appropriately to pay for the services. Okay, they only exist by virtue of society acting as and through a government. So you tax, that's one example. And you can't function as a major, like one of these major corporations. You can't function unless you have an artificial entity. So you tax them. So they don't have to tax people involuntarily. It doesn't have to be by force. They don't have to do that, but they do it anyway. And that's the scumbag attitude. I don't have to eat animals. I'm going to do it anyway. Vafungul home meal. I got mine. So it's all about me. And those who choose and have making the choice to continue eating meat and creating a demand that animals be tortured and killed, that's the attitude. I don't have to do this, but I'm going to choose to do it anyway because I'm a selfish prick. That's really all it comes down to. And you could tell, I don't give a damn if somebody, well, I'm going to unsub. Well, I'm not going to listen to you anymore. I don't care. Find a counter argument that makes sense. If you're going to say that veganism is illogical, point out the flaw in the logic. Present a counter argument that actually makes sense instead of logical fallacies. And so you can go and you can see the video that I did going point by point with Larkin Rose's garbage and easily debunking that crap. So if you have a counter argument, because it really just comes down to there are other options that are healthier and are cheaper than meat, which is heavily subsidized by the government anarchists claim to hate so much. Heavily subsidized by government. The dairy industry is heavily subsidized. That's your corporate welfare. Those are the welfare queens. Okay? There are cheaper, healthier alternatives, but you choose not to because just like the people called government, instead of doing it non-violently, you choose the violence. Again, because the only one, see, if you, the only one you care about is you. See, that's what it comes down to not being a Republican or a Democrat, not being, well, it's not being selfish. It's actually seeing that there's more to the world than your palate. These are vegan. There are a lot of vegan options. Lot of vegan options. So you got no. So that I'll get to the comments if we have anybody still watching the live stream. But let me know in the comments what you think about it. If you've got a counter argument that I'm dead wrong, you have a logical, coherent, rational argument countering veganism for actually eating meat. And I'm not talking about the 1 in 7 million people that have some kind of genetic deficiency. Yeah, talk about the average person. If you've got a rational argument, a rational counter argument to veganism, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. And speaking of, let's see if those tuning into the live stream are all ears also. So what we're going to do, going to go to this. There we go. That is the vegan anarchy symbol. So we got the vegan anarchy symbol there. And I will go to the comments over there if we've got anybody still on the live stream. So let's see. Okay. All right. I don't think we're doing too bad on the live stream. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. All right, Marissa Tomei. How could I forget this? Actually, the movie right before My Cousin Vinny, one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen it a lot. Oscar, and I saw it originally in the theater. I think it was 1990, so it was the same year as Tremors. So that was a big year for some really good movies. 1990. I really miss 19. I miss the 90s. There's I can't kid you guys there. I missed the 90s. Trapping, my dog Rex is trapping animals is cruel. All life is interdependent on all other life. That's not an argument to actually eat animals. You can eat plants and be healthy. You can get cheese without killing. Actually, well, you're still exploiting the animal, and you have to rape the animal in order to make sure that they're consistently making that milk. And that milk is not for you. That milk is for the cow's calf. So to take that from the animal or to trap the animal and artificially or rape them to keep them from producing and lactating, that's wrong. That's just that is exploitation, and exploitation is wrong. Not ethical. Moral consistency is different than ethical consistency. Either way, eating cheese saves lives. You know, I wish it did, because like I said, sono siciliano. I mean, io mangio formaggio. I could. That was a tough one, but there is a chemical in cheese that gets the calf or the infant addicted, which is why it's very difficult to give up the cheese. And that's a tough one. Who that guy? It's about doing your best to not do harm. Yes, it's to live honestly, injure no one, give every man his due, just to be a better person. So, like the guy I had to block from my Discord server. It's my Discord server. It's a tiny one, just like this is a tiny channel. I asked him multiple times not to have the wall of these ridiculous links. This QAnon garbage. I asked him multiple times, and instead of having respect, it was vafangul. I'm going to do it anyway. So he had to get blocked. He had to continue being a dick. He had to be a douchebag, an abrasive douche. That was more important to him than having rational discord and respecting the rule that I set. Separating, who that guy is saying, separating oneself completely from coercion, service to the planet. Yeah, this guy gets it. I think people who argue about diet this is the, can I get a channel? I think people who argue about diet are ignorant, each to his own. It actually isn't to each to his own, because the impact on the environment alone, if you are engaged in creating a demand for something that damages the environment we all live in. I mean, it's like this libertarian wet dream that if you have your own property, and if you have a river going through your property, you can do whatever you want. No, you can't just start throwing poison because you're only doing it on that. That's the libertarian wet dream that just makes no logical sense. I can't even remember the guy's name who wrote the book, Murray Rothbard. Yeah, I don't even think he agreed with this nonsense that you could throw waste into your part of the river and vafangul to the guy downriver. I could do whatever I want on my property. If I want to dump toxic chemicals into the ground, I don't give a damn if it gets into your drinking water. Or I can do what I want right here. No. No, it's not a matter of ignorance. I think those who don't engage in the argument about vegan ethics don't have a counter argument. So if they are meat eaters and they partake in murdered animal flesh, the reason why they say something like that is you don't have a counter argument. All right. My perspective is that it's all okay. I don't know what that means. What living things can I exploit so that I may live? Well, I think like plants, using plants in a non-destructive way to the environment. It's this backyard's poppies. All right. All you need to do, can I get a channel? All you need to do is till the earth dummy. Okay? That's all you need. Everything else is illusory. I'm not even... Might be some hippie stuff. I don't get it. Dummy is your mind doesn't exist in the universe, does it? Okay, some of that metaphysical, mind-blowing stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. I understand. Yes, non-aggression. No. All right. Aren't plants exploited? Well, plants are exploited, but it's different because plants are not sentient. It's not like an animal. And there, we don't survive. I mean, you get these crazy people talking about a carnivore diet. The idea that you're not going to have any fiber. Holy crap! That is just mind-blowing. They say that a large population of the Americans are chronically constipated. Not an issue if you're a vegan, because why? If you're eating good, well, and not just biscotti, and you're getting plenty of fiber. So that's not a problem. Any vegan Eskimos? No. I would not think that there were vegan Eskimos, but they're living in a place that they don't have any choice. I love fresh. Yeah, who doesn't love fresh fruits? Fruit wants to be eaten. That is actually, I believe, for a lot of fruit, that's true, because then the seeds can be passed way, way down. A bird can eat and fly and then hopefully miss my car and drop them seeds so that the seeds can grow. Well, I think what Zubrooks AB is misunderstanding here. Oh, it's not that fruits think, obviously no one's saying that, but they have evolved to have fruit that is attractive to birds, humans, bears, whatnot, so that the seed can be spread. So that was a product of evolution. Obviously not that they're thinking. Yeah, Zubrooks AB, also fruits' purpose is to make passing their seeds more attractive to animals. Humans don't transfer seeds by eating fruit. Well, they can. Yeah, they can. There was a story about the Antarctica where one of the scientists had eaten a tomato. Another plant grew from his evacuation. Yeah, we take care of fruit. Tree feeds us. Anyone who doesn't like fruits and vegetables needs their head checked. It's a little extreme, but cheese has animal products tend to have a lot of protein, yes. But I'll get a little personal here. There was a radical change in part of my physiology when I went straight up vegan, and all my protein was I got from animal, from plant, mainly lentils and black beans. And for those who may not know, you can make hummus from black beans. Am I right? I mean, that's a pretty big reason. You can get plenty of protein. I mean, hummus is all you need to know that you can go, be happy as a vegan. Hummus. And when I stopped eating animal products, when I sweat, now animal protein is very, very hard on the kidneys, especially if you're eating large, you're getting more than a gram per kilo of body weight. That really hard on the kidneys. And my sweat, I smell like ammonia. I mean, that's just the way it was. But I don't smell like ammonia anymore, and because I don't eat animal protein. Now, this is pure conjecture on my part. I just know once I stopped eating animals, I no longer partook of tortured, murdered animal flesh. I didn't smell like ammonia when I sweat. So that's someone saying it's not your Discord server though. You don't own it. You don't even represent it. Discord. Okay, that's true. But I'm the moderator of it. I'm the one who created it. I'm the one who named it. For goodness sakes, it's Mark Stevens No Stay Project. I moderate it. I impose my rules on that. Well, I don't think a Venus flytrap is sentient, but a mussel is considered an animal, so it's I believe it may have some. Everything is winding down. Wake, okay, you sweat. Wake, yeah, I do, and it is still burning hot out there, but the sun is going down, so I will be able to get a workout in, and the benefit is I don't smell like ammonia anymore. But if there's anybody out there that knows better and wants to save me the time of looking it up, let me know in the comments why somebody, and I get it's the urea, it's from the breakdown of protein. I understand. I get that. I guess that's why it's coming out in the sweat. That's it. And how is a mussel more sentient than a Venus flytrap? I don't understand the physiology of that. What I do know is that there's not a single shred of evidence that a Venus flytrap is sentient to a plant, period. I know you mow the lawn, it releases. It's a simple cause and effect. It's a reaction to stimuli. It doesn't mean that they're sentient. I'm not versed enough. That's something, if I had the time, I'd go back and I look that up, but that's not something that I can discuss. I just know that eating mussels is absolutely disgusting. Clams and stuff like that. I can't even think about it. Yeah, there's in the episode of Friends, they went to an engagement party or something like that, and Phoebe drops a clam or a mussel, drops it on the floor because she is a vegetarian. She drops it on the floor, and somebody steps on it. They thought it was a big loogie. They are absolutely disgusting. So I'm gonna have to go. That I'm getting the light there, and hey. I'm going to have some biscotti after I work out because, hey, that's how I roll. You gotta do that. You gotta do that. So this is, cheap vegan snacks, vegan junk. I don't need a whole lot of it, but when I do, and here's the thing, good dark chocolate. Because it's called dark chocolate for a reason. You got milk chocolate, you got dark chocolate. Dark chocolate's not supposed to have dairy in it. But when they're using the dairy to spread it out, it's like watering it down. So dark chocolate, just look, most of it does not have the dairy, so you can still enjoy your chocolate. So if you want to help support the show so I can do more streams more frequently, more consistently, you could do so in the description. And if you have a counter argument against vegan ethics, and it's not about your taste, it's not about the 0.5% of people that have some medical anomaly, I'm talking about the average person. If you have a rational counter argument, let me know in the comments and I can address those on another show because I can't take any calls today, obviously. So I do appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, you can get these awesome shirts in the description below. And if you have an idea for the topic for the Wednesday broadcast, because I will be back at 7 o'clock Arizona time, let me know in the comments and I more than likely will get to it. So till Wednesday, salud.